Hello, Aries. How are you? I'm here at this very makeshift desk. As you can see, I have like little walls here, keeping me in perfect for this width. Today's August 23rd, and depending on my ability to upload this video, I may upload it either today or tomorrow on the 24th. And I wanted to take a look at the energy for the upcoming week. Now, there's a couple of really important astro transits that I want, or aspects that I want to mention. The first is that this week Mars is squaring Saturn, and it will be doing so all week. Mars is at 26 Aries, Saturn is at 26 Capricorn. At the same time, Mars is sextiling the North Node, which is at 26 Gemini. So what does this mean? It means that something you're really anxious to get off the ground is probably going to have a whole bunch of Saturnian blocks, depression, you know, it'll like raining on your wedding, or, you know, some shit like that, where it's like trying to take out or at least show you where the holes in your plan are. And it can show you the holes in your plan by making things fall apart, or it can help you by bringing things up that you need to take a second look at. Now, since the nodes, which are in Gemini, Sagittarius, the North Node is in Gemini, so it's ruled by Mercury, and Mercury is in Virgo right now. What that means is that your way out of this Mars-Saturn square is in the details. So the devil's in the details. It's all going to be about plans, about purifying plans, making things whole, restoration, revise, review, anything that you're working on that you're trying to get off the ground that feels stalled, or that is receiving some sort of oppression from an institution, and this is Saturn, he's come back, right? So he's in his retrograde. So it'll be something that you already know. It won't be a new challenge. It'll be an old challenge. The way to deal with this Mars-Saturn square is to focus on your Mercury in Virgo, or focus on the Mercury in Virgo. So go through your plans, double check everything. You know how Virgos can be, they get super anxious over their plans. They want to go through everything like 100 times until they're 100% convinced that it's perfect and there's no way it can fail. That's kind of the energy you're going to want to embrace. And with the Sun in Virgo right now, that will be helpful. So that's kind of the big planetary stuff right now. At the end of the week, on the 30th, Venus opposes Pluto, and that is not a nice energy. Can be breakup energy, can be loss energy. And then she'll also oppose Jupiter and then Saturn next week also. But we'll deal with that then. So let's take a look at the energy for Aries for the week. Starting today, August 23rd. What's the overall energy for Aries? Okay. I talked about Venus opposite Pluto. So one of the other things I wanted to mention, actually, was that the new moon last week should have brought you some sort of hope for a future. You know, the symbol was daybreak, something new coming to light. But in order for something new to come to light, something old had to die. Now, in my case, it happened like I received hideous news, and 48 hours later, I received great news that sort of canceled out the hideous news. So that could have happened very quickly. It could have been happening very slowly. Something had to leave in order for that daybreak to happen, right? Sun has to set in order to rise again. So you may still be dealing with some of the fallout of that. Perhaps you're not seeing necessarily the newness that there is, or perhaps now that you have the newness, you're taking a moment to grieve over what was lost in order to bring that something new in. Now let's get the lesson. What's the lesson here? Okay, building blocks. Interesting. And this is a 10, right? So this is, sorry, I'm trying to find the light there. This is a 10, and this is talking about endings, right? So perhaps feeling bad about something that's over. However, as you can see, this is the building block, and this reminds me so much of that Virgo energy about putting things together one by one, bit by bit. Understanding that if there was a faulty layer in this construction, it had to go in order for you to keep building up to where you wanted to go. So there may be a moment of mourning that perhaps you liked that floor that you had built, or that platform that you had built, whatever it is, something that you had been working on for quite some time that you thought was going to bring you to the next level. It's possible that Saturn took something out, right? He said, no, that's actually got holes. There's holes in the cement and it won't hold 10 years from now. So I'm going to have to take it out. But what I'm going to give you is something better. That's that new moon, right? And this actually really goes to talk to that Mars square Saturn sextile the nodes transit that's happening right now. Sorry, I've been surrounded by my Italian family, and I've been speaking only Italian. So my English, which is my natal language, is a little rusty. So forgive the pauses in between words. So you may have lost something that you had been working on for quite some time that you thought was necessary in order to take you to the next level. And this is also what happened to me. What the energy is saying is actually that loss may have been a loss, and you can certainly grieve it, but in going back over the plan, in going through the details, in revising and in reviewing what you had planned, looking at the devil in the details in your plan, you'll see that it actually wasn't a purified plan and there were holes in it. And now is the opportunity for you to restore, sort of re-level out this platform and start building again. So there was perhaps an unfortunate loss, but that was just going to lead to allowing you to build something more sturdy and more solid in the future. And let's get some cards here. I only have a few decks with me, so I'm going to pull more tarot than I usually do. Can I get 3 cards, please? For the past for Aries. 3 cards for the past for Aries. Okay, what do we have here? 6 of Swords, Page of Pentacles. Let me get one more card for the past for Aries. And 5 of Swords. All right, so here was this like idea that you had right in the middle, right? Something that you were working on, something that you thought that coin was going to turn into something big. Right here, it's a page, so it's not a mature plan project yet. It's still just starting out. And what's surrounding that energy is the 6 of Swords and the 5 of Swords. So something that probably was like kind of a crappy loss, right? It's not a hero's loss. It makes you feel like it left a really bad taste in your mouth and you're moving forward, but it's not like the 6 of Wands moving forward. It's a moving forward like with a feeling of loss, okay? That you may have felt that you lost something, and that's that grief that we saw here. Now let's get 3 more cards for current energy. 3 cards for current energy for Aries. And this goes from the 6 to the 5, so there's a very clear current energy, Tower. Okay, so yes, that's more of that. 2 more cards, please, for Aries for current energy. Temperance, right? But this is bringing things into balance, working things out, actually higher. And remember the last reading with that new moon was talking about being protected by angels. And so here's the angels coming in to say, yeah, the tower came down. We took out some of your building blocks and we took out something you've been working on building, but there's a reason for it, right? There's something working behind the scenes. We're actually, rebalancing what's in your cup, even though it doesn't necessarily look like it. 1 more card for current. I just saw a 9 of Pentacles. 1 more card for current energies for Aries. 1 more card, current energies for Aries. Okay, very, very, very nice. And here's where it ends up, right? Okay, so moving from this kind of crappy tower moment into a place of King of Wands. So bringing things into balance, actually, so you can be very powerful in the future. And the King of Wands sort of looks over these two, you know, with a different sense of wisdom. And so he's looking over at this Temperance card, and he's looking over at this Tower card saying, okay, now I kind of get why things had to go that way. And you may be having a moment of understanding as you go through that Mercury and Virgo of picking apart the plan and picking apart what happened and where things fell apart, where things need to be restored, where things need to be revised, understanding that there is some logic to it, that it leaves a bitter taste in your mouth, and it's still obviously resonating, but that ultimately there was a gift in the middle that's going to actually put you in a better place, because here it was a Page of Pentacles and it moves up to the King of Wands. So there's a definite shift in you ditching something that, yeah, you really liked and were excited about manifesting, but that ultimately wasn't going to bring you that king-like sense of passion, satisfaction, and fire. So let's see 3 cards for the future, please. 3 cards for the near future for Aries. 3 cards for the near future for Aries. Oh, there's 3. Oh, okay. So Page of Swords, right? So perhaps in that revising things, getting some new ideas. The Page of Swords kind of like stalker energy, right? Like super, when you go online and do a really good Google of someone or something that you're interested in, gathering information. And that's very much that Mercury and Virgo energy, trying to find things out, approaching things with new eyes, right? And I'm reminded of this. You see how the bodies are similar, and here he's like, they're both looking with their swords at what's going on. Here he's got 2 swords, here he's only got 1. So he's lost something, this is what has walked away. Here he's now kind of looking at things with fresh eyes, getting new information about this 1 sword that's in his hands. Then we have the Lovers, okay? This is the 3rd major arcana card. And then we end up with the Emperor, okay? So there is a clear crescendo of energies, of strength, and here's okay. God, I wish I could turn this around. Anyway, so here we have I'll show these at the same time. So these 2 cards are on top of each other in the middle, right? Both of those angels, 2 angels right in the middle of the reading. And then these 2 are in front of each other, 2 of the most powerful fire signs in the deck. So really bringing that sense of power, that sense of domination, that sense of I've got this, that sense of Aries-ness, right? And having gone through a very difficult walk to have to get here, but here in the middle you have this very divine, again, both major arcana, very divine energy that comes in to say, hey, I got this, like I'm looking out for you. It may not look like it, and you may feel like you've been stripped bare of everything. Like on the earthly plane, you may feel like you've lost so much that you're literally left standing naked in the middle of nowhere, or that so much has been taken away from you that you don't have anything left. And here's the sort of divine saying that actually what's around the corner are these energies, that I've taken out that platform that you were trying to build because it was not the right platform. And yes, to you, it may have seemed like the perfect plan, your little pentacle that you were working for. But if you look at things with new eyes, with new objectivity, with new like sort of research, as if you were going into, like, take the emotion out of it. Notice no cups here. Take the emotion out of it and really sort of focus on the mental. 10 of Wands. Focus on the mental. Yes, there's an emotional bitter taste in our mouth. And here it's like, so empty out the cup for a second and focus on the objective information. Pay attention. Don't pay attention to how you feel about it, but pay attention to the facts. Be objective. Gather information. Sort of one of my bosses used to always tell me to unplug my stomach, which in Italian makes more sense. It's staccare la pancia, because I was always reacting emotionally to situations that actually would have been more suitable to react to with pure cold logic. So now is really time to step into that Mercury and Virgo energy. Sorry, I'm going to take some water. Because if you look at things objectively and not emotionally, you'll be able to find the power and the strength and the possibility for the future, and how whatever is this daybreak, because here's that sunrise coming up over there, and there's the little golden crown back there that's rising like a sun. Whatever is that this daybreak brought to you, this new moon energy from last week, is actually gonna make you into like a super boss. It's gonna help you to level up in ways that you can't imagine right now. Again, we may be stuck on what we lost, but because we're not seeing what this could potentially be built into if the plan is a perfect plan, right? I think the thing we have to accept is the plan before that we had, which we really, really liked, and we're really unhappy about having to walk away from, or that we feel like we were cheated or treated unjustly, which looks like we actually were, right? So the thing that you lost, you may have lost through no fault of your own even. It's something that walked away from you, and now you have to move forward, but you really didn't want to. You liked this thing that you were working on or working towards. But what it says here is that had to come down, because ultimately, whatever is the sort of divine plan, that thing you were working on did not figure into the future, or rather, you took it as far as it could go. It was built up to the point where it could go, but it couldn't be built upon any further. It wasn't going to lead you in the right direction. So if you look at things kind of objectively and start to see the potential in your current situation and the choices that you're being given right now, and how the situation is coming into balance, and it actually may be more balanced than what you had in the future. Perhaps what you were working on or the person you were looking at was too in one direction and actually needed to be more open to create more possibilities. That is going to help you level up to where it is that you want to go. Okay, I'm going to get a little piece of advice card here. I brought my own deck with me. So can I get some advice for Aries for the week of August 23rd? But again, we got 4 major arcana. So big moves here. These are big times for us. And I think you'll see first week in September, there's a full moon in Pisces, which is where there was the Mercury retrograde in Pisces at the beginning of the year. And you'll remember that Mars spent like an eternity in Pisces. So something that we were dealing with in February, March is going to be wrapping up. But we'll look more into that when the moon happens, when that full moon happens. So can I get some advice, please, for Aries for the week of the 23rd? All right, this is the cat. I don't know if you can see that. That's the cat. So it says, keywords are elusive, mysterious, agile, clumsy, curious, and carefree. The cat is an animal of a million interpretations and myths. Worshipped in Egypt, it's said to have multiple lives and even be the bearers of bad luck. The famous elusive wiles of the cat have been debunked thanks to the cat video. This form of entertainment is so successful because it embodies both the pride and folly of our human experience. It can remind us that even at our most feline, the laws of gravity still apply. This energy reminds us to walk through life armed with pride, grace, majesty, and curiosity, but never forget to carry our sense of humor and our willingness to shake it off and try again. Okay, interesting. So that kind of fits in. Sorry, it was hard to read because it's really dark here. That kind of fits into, yes, there's a moment of loss. And now is really kind of about how you face going into the next chapter, and that you have a choice about how you want to deal with it. It's suggested to be as objective as possible. And yes, there's a bad taste in your mouth over something that was taken away, but that actually, if we sort of face this like bosses, face this like King of Wands and like the emperors that we are, we can actually come to see that, yes, sometimes we fall down, but then we just sort of dust ourselves off and get back up again and keep building and get back to building what it is that we're working on. So yes, it looks like life definitely threw us a major wrench in the plan. And this is definitely that Mars square Saturn energy. Saturn loves nothing more than to block. Be the, like, in Italian, they say bastone tra le ruote, which means it's like putting a rod in the wheel so you can't go forward. Work on your plan. Look at things as objectively as possible. Try and see the opportunity in the loss. Like, if instead of looking at the loss as if with grief, you know, with this 6 of Swords and 5 of Swords energy, if you could look at it as a Page of Swords, what opportunity or what new choices could you find that actually are more, because, you know, here's where you end up and here's where it started. So, you know, it's kind of like, if I had to choose, I'd definitely pick to be on this guy's team. So whatever it is that happened, see if you had to reanalyze what it is that you did. How is the original plan or the original offering or the original thing you were trying to manifest a Page of Pentacles? And how is the new situation, or how could it turn into a King of Wands Emperor situation? So if you start to really analyze and gather information, be objective, be logical about what's happened and about what's been taken away, about how to build that into an opportunity, classic turn lemons into lemonade. If you focus on that energy, it'll be easier to sort of walk away from this movement, or walk away from this moment with grace and our heads held high and our tails properly cocked in the air. Anyway, I hope this is helpful, and I hope you have a lovely week, and I will see you again soon.